Reunion is the sixth episode of the first season of the Looney Tunes show, and although they started off a little slowly, I ultimately did really enjoy it. Daffy Duck has been invited to his school reunion, and he doesn't necessarily want to go, but Bugs Bunny manages to convince him to go, and Daffy realizes that he's only got a couple of days to make something of his life, and he recounts his time at school, and he was popular, he was successful, everybody loved him, and then he looks at his life and thinks, what have I become? And he doesn't want to go, but Bugs manages to persuade him, and we get the scenes at the reunion. I don't want to talk too much about those, but I will with a spoiler warning at the end, because I want to share some things that I really liked with the direction they took with it. But I found it to be, as I said, a little slow, but once we got to the reunion, things really picked up. I found that it started to pick up after we got after the Merry Melodies short, which wasn't very good, but that's irrelevant to this. And once we got there, it was pretty interesting. We have some other characters. Marvin the Martian appears, and Porky Pig, which I thought was a nice touch. That kind of worked really well, and I didn't mind it. So definitely not the best, but it was pretty decent. The animation quality is really good, and we have a variety of locations, indoors and outdoors, so we have a variety of backdrops. So visually, it's very well done. The story, a little bit slow, but ultimately it worked well. And I will explain now what I mean by that and why I loved the direction it took. So these are spoilers for things that happen at the end of the episode. And Daffy goes to this reunion and he realizes, and I don't think he was meant to be lying, but he had mentally blocked out his genuine experience at school and replaced it with this alternate reality where he was the popular kid. Actually, he was nicknamed Daffy Dork at school because he was a stereotypical geek-like character. And I have to say, I love how he was animated. It's very effective animation design. And we learned that actually Porky Pig was the one who peaked at school rather than the other way on, which is what happened initially when Daffy Duck was recalling this time. And Daffy realizes then that actually it doesn't matter that he hasn't made anything of his life yet because he didn't peak at school. And this is something that Bugs helps him to realize. All of those he went to school with, who were popular, the jocks, the ones who made fun of him, they peaked at school. They've had their time. The rest of their life will be mundane and they will be nobodies. And Daffy Duck still has his time to shine. So I thought that was a really nice message and something worth remembering, especially if you are at school, that if you look around and your peers seem to be peaking at school, that's going to fade away once they leave. And it is true, it does happen sometimes, quite often. If a person peaks at high school or secondary school, then their life as an adult is maybe not going to be what they expected. And if you don't peak at high school, you've still got your time. So I like the message. It was a little bit slow to get there, as I said, but once we did, it wasn't too bad. Reunion might not be my favourite episode of the Looney Tunes show, but I still enjoyed it.